This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where dad is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, best-selling author, and host of the ever-popular Dr. John Deloney Show on Ramsey Networks, is my co-host today as we talk about your relationships, your boundaries, your mental health, your career, your job, and even your money. We talk about you right in front of you, right here on The Ramsey Show. The phone number is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. We're going to start off this hour with New York City calling. Wait a minute, I'm going to get this right. There it is. Khadidra is with us. Hey, Khadidra, how are you?
Hi, I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Sure. What's up in your world?
So I have a significant amount of student loan debt. It's around $67,000. I also have around $19,000, $20,000 in a personal loan repayment, as well as about $5,000 in credit card debt. Mm-hmm. I just received a $20,000 bonus from my job, and I want to know what makes the most sense. Do I apply it to the student loan, or do I pay off the personal loan? What makes the most sense for me?
That's a good question. Thank you for being a listener. We appreciate it. And a new listener at that. So here's what we teach, and then the more important thing is why we teach it. All right? We want you to get out of debt as fast as you possibly can. And apparently you're moving that direction since you gave me all your debts and then said I've got some money. And the reason we want you to get out of debt as fast as you possibly can is that frees up your most powerful wealth-building tool, which is your income. Okay, so we're in agreement. We want to get out of debt the fastest possible way. We also want to get out of debt in a way that causes us to actually finish the plan. So this only works. This suggestion of mine, the answer to your question only works if it's not the only thing you do, but it's part of the whole thing that you do as you plug into this whole Ramsey ecosystem on money, okay? So within that ecosystem, you're going to live like no one else so that later you can live and give like no one else. You're going to sell so much stuff the kids think they're next. You're going to live on nothing. You're not going out to eat. You're not going on a vacation. You're going to pour every dollar at this debt with great intensity. And then you're going to get out of debt, okay? Now, if you're going to do all of that, then this works. If you're going to screw around with it and ish it, it's not going to work. So I got to give you that caveat to the advice. Now, in that context, what we teach people to do is list your debts, smallest to largest, pay minimum payments on everything with the smallest debt, and attack the smallest debt, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next. That gives you a sense of traction, a sense of power, a sense of destiny that this is going to work. It gives you hope. And so I'm going to list your $5,000 worth of credit cards, and I'm going to pay them off. And then I'm going to pay the rest of it on the personal loan. And as soon as I get that personal loan gone, I don't have any credit card payments. I don't have any personal loans. Then I'm going to attack the student loans with a vengeance, because you're going to pay off all but $5,000 of the personal loans. And you're going to cut up your stupid credit cards so they don't grow back.
Okay.
Is this making sense?
Yes, it's making sense.
Okay.
There's a lot of recurring payments that I need to get rid of on my credit card so that I can do that.
Yeah, well, just move them over your debit card. Yeah. Or, that's what I use. I use a debit card, and you got to move them over. But chomp them up, get rid of them. And if you take $20,000 and apply it to 20 and 5, then that leaves only $5,000 on the personal loan. Did I do that math right?
Yes.
Okay. And you make how much? 90?
No, I make 160.
Oh, great. Okay, so you're going to knock out that other 5 in like 20 minutes, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then we're going to knock out the student loans in less than 1 year. And you're going to be free. How long have you had these student loans?
Since 2015.
Okay. It's time for Sally Mae to leave your life. 7 years is too long for her to be invading your space.
Yes.
So, John, the power of paying off the smallest to largest, that incremental progress, there's actually psychology about that. John has a PhD in psychology, so I can ask him about these things.
Yeah. So you're either overwhelmed or the joy is welling up inside you and you can't speak. Which one is it?
I'm a little overwhelmed.
Okay.
I'm a little nervous.
So just to reiterate what Dave just said, by the end of today, you're going to have no credit card debt. You're going to have $5,000 left on a family loan that with your income, hopefully you can go to the bank and get that $5,000 and you're out of that one too. And then after today, because of one free phone call and because you're ready to knock this thing out, then you just got to tackle the last big, ugly, hairy dog there and move your credit card, cut your credit cards up and get a debit card, right? And then you're ready to rock and roll.
There's an intensity to this, though, and you feel that. Is that what's a little overwhelming?
Yes,
Yeah.
I absolutely need to be rid of all debt.
Yeah. So here's what we have discovered, and this is for the benefit of all our listeners, but also for you. What we've discovered is personal finance is 80% behavior. It's only 20% head knowledge. You're a smart lady, I can tell by talking to you, just how articulate you are. You've been trying to fix this with your intellect, and it's not an intellectual problem. It's I get pissed off at Sally Mae, and I'm kicking the old woman out of my freaking house problem. There's an emotion, a visceral move to this, and that is tied to the success of people who get out of debt. You cannot fix a problem that you made emotionally with an intellectual fix. You have to fix it with an emotional change.
And that applies to marital issues. That applies to most mental health issues. You can't think your way out of most of these problems. You can get a plan cognitively, but then you got to go do. You got to go be different. You got to act different, right? Little by little by little.
Yep. Good. That's a great call. And that's for, her call is for all of you out there. So here's the deal. They actually did a study at Northwestern University that studied the idea of paying off your debt's highest interest rate first versus smallest to largest. And the conclusion of this university study was, Dave Ramsey's right. And we're like, well, we kind of already knew that because we already taught 10 million people how to do this while you guys were doing that study up there in a vacuum. But
Dave, I've been at those tables where we're discussing data and everyone kind of hangs their head like, oh man, we didn't expect these findings. I just imagine that table. They were going to show you.
No, I don't know. I don't know whether they,
So
but
great.
if they did at least come out and publicly, they put it out.
Okay.
And they literally did say, all this time Ramsey's been right.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether they were trying to prove me right or prove me wrong, but it doesn't matter. We already knew we were right because we had more proof text than they had. So we already knew that we had more data than they would have ever seen with the number of people that have actually done this. But that's the thing, guys. You've got to have a level of hope, and your behaviors, your impulse, your lack of control, your disorganization, your immaturity, your inability to delay pleasure. These are all things that you got to fix. It's called growing up. And when you do and you apply a behavior fix to getting out of debt, you'll get out of debt. But when you try to intellect your way out of a behavior problem, you can't do it. This is The Ramsey Show. Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. John's brand new book is called Own Your Past, Change Your Future. It is on pre-sale right now for only $20. And John's got 2 PhDs, 20 years of counseling experience, packed it into an easy-to-understand book. This book's going to have a positive impact on everyone. Everyone should read this book. I got to tell you, I personally... it's changed some of the language I'm using, not only with you guys, but inside my own head as well. And that's just from me reading through the manuscript because it's got my name on the publishing. And so I want to know what the flip we were saying before we put it out there. And it turns out, it'll help like a 30-year-old that's looking to sharpen their mind. This is not a thing you have to this is a book for crazy people. No, it's not. It's a book for all of us have a little crazy, and we all could adjust it a little bit.
That's right.
All of us have some things we could polish up and just... a little more peace, a little less anxiety. All of us could adjust the way we're looking at certain things, and you give a framework for doing that, and that's why I think this book's going to blow up.
Yeah, there's a lot of books out there that are scholars talking to scholars, and they're fine, and they're good, and they're important, and there's a lot of books out there on what I call way outside the bell curve for some significant mental illness for folks who are practitioners. There's almost nothing for folks who are just trying to live life better.
Just have a better conversation.
That's right.
With yourself.
That's right.
Have a better conversation with your friend. I mean,
the people you love, right?
And in our world today, we were talking about this before we went on the air. The number of times that two people can just sit down and almost enjoy a good argument. Just because we can have a good discussion because we still love each other. We did before we started, yes. And after we finish the argument, we still think you're wrong, but I still love you.
Of course.
But everybody, you have to hate everybody, and you have to chop off everything right. In our divisive world out there. It's like, well, you have a mask or you don't have a mask, and so I'm pissed at you for the rest of your life. It's like people are losing their dadgum minds out there.
Oh, they're gone, man.
And so, we need some new tools to control ourselves and also to interface with other people. And
just to walk it back, you know what I mean? We've laughed internally, not laughed, but we've thought, really? We look at the number of conversation cards we've sold. Like, is that where we are? And the reality is, yep, that's where we are. That we're starting over kind of like old school. You got to get $1,000 in. Let's just start there, right? Yeah. That's where we are when it comes to relationships and our mental health right now. And let's do it. And let's just stop pretending. Let's stop walking around the problem. Let's go right through the middle of it.
Well, and to my knowledge, none of our leadership team or publishing team has significant mental health problems, right. To my knowledge, and every one of them were touched, including me, right. And informed and given new tools by reading this book. Own Your Past, Change Your Future. We've taught God's and Grandma's ways of handling money for 30 years here at Ramsey, and John's doing the same thing now, God's and Grandma's ways of doing relationships, doing mental health. It is a complex topic, but people that are smart can take a complex topic and make it simple. Around here we call it putting the cookies on a shelf where everyone can reach them. So pre-order your copy today at RamseySolutions.com. It's $20. You're going to get the audio version of the book, the ebook version of the book, and you're going to get 1 month of free weekly therapy sessions from the fine folks at BetterHelp who have come alongside. That makes this $20 purchase an unbelievable deal. So RamseySolutions.com and check it out. The new book coming out in April. Get it pre-ordered now to get all the goodies. Own Your Past, Change Your Future. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Free samples, free shipping. With the 2 new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best possible deal.
Today's question comes from David in Oregon. David writes, I've been paying the bills but not doing a proper budget since my wife and I got married. I thought I could do it and we coasted by for about 10 years. Then kids came, time flew by, and we accumulated $30,000 in debt. I never made my spouse part of the process and held her off so she didn't have to feel the financial burden. She has a quote-unquote feeling that something isn't right when I won't let her see our finances, and she's right. I recently read one of Dave's tweets. Look at you using Twitter to help people. I didn't know that was possible. That said, if you're in a committed relationship, you've got to play with all of your cards face up. How do we start over and do it right this time? Whew, this is a moment. This is one of those cool marriage moments.
This is a really great question. Yeah. I love this question.
So, Dave, in my life, when I've had several of these in my marriage over 20 years, it always starts with me saying, we need to have a discussion, and I need to invite you into some hard stuff that's going on in my heart and mind, my actions, whatever. And I start with, I'm sorry. I've been living this way, and I haven't brought you along. I've left you out. I've excluded you, whatever the thing is. And I want to invite you in to help make this right. And she's very right to feel betrayed. She's very right or her feelings are going to be her feelings. But it starts with somebody turning the lights on, turning the music off, and saying, I was wrong, and I'm sorry. Let's start here.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, though, I mean, I've walked couples through this, and sometimes I played marriage counselor for 5 minutes in the middle of a coaching session on money in this. And if he will just, I get 99% of the time, if dude, you got the perfect heart, she's got the right heart, actually, both of you do, for this to be successful. And so I would just say, look, I have screwed this up. I'm sorry. The reason I screwed it up was it started off with I was just going to take care of it. I was going to man up so you didn't have to worry about it. Yeah. And then it got out of control, and I was ashamed that I didn't do it right. Mm-hmm. And that caused me to even become more guarded of it. And I should have just brought the whole thing to you, and we should have worked on it together. And I really screwed up. But I screwed up because I was trying to be the man and carry this for you. Mm-hmm. And that's not the right way to be a man, by the way. Right. And I was trying, and then when it fell apart and I couldn't do it, then I was ashamed of myself, and I didn't want to reveal to you that I had screwed up because I felt stupid. And so if he just says that, which is what he said, right? But if he just says that to her, she's going to be really forgiving.
Oh, man. And this usually, when I see a couple like this, there's something underneath it, which there's something about the way they communicate in this home that she doesn't, like, so if this is my wife, she will not say, hey, I've got a feeling. She will insert herself into this process, right? So there's something about...
Well, it could be that they've been married 5 years and you've been married 20.
Well, they've been married 10 years.
In the first 5 years, Sharon would have been this. Now, Sharon would be like, what?
Yeah,
it's going on.
Very similar here.
So it's different now. Yeah, after 40 years, we kind of cut through the bull. So
yeah. Those 1 hour conversations are 6 minutes,
6 seconds. Yeah, it's like not. I have a feeling. It's like you're scheming and scamming. What the crap's going on?
That's right. But something here is going to have to change in how they do, because this isn't just going to show up with money. It's going to show up with kids. It's going to show up with everything. Yeah. Let's come up with a new way of doing business, of loving each other.
And here's the lesson that you get out of this, and you learn it through the money lens, and it will affect your whole marriage, to your point. And the lesson that you get out of it that's so beautiful is this, that everything you do is going to be better when you do it together.
Right.
Instead of you trying to give her the gift of her not having to worry.
Right.
That is not a real gift.
And every time
that's a falsehood.
Have a feeling, hey, something's not right, develop a language that y'all can ask each other that question. Yeah. It just does away with it, right? Right away. It just goes away. It's poof. You deal with it and you move on.
Oh, and by the way, this also tells us that your wife has really, really good intuition.
Yep.
And so the next time she has a feeling about the car salesman, but you think you want to buy the truck anyway, you need to get off the lot.
Yep.
Because her feelings are probably pretty intuitive, probably pretty accurate.
Man.
It might be God speaking through her.
I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah. If Sharon says, Sharon's Southern, so she says it's a 7-syllable word. I got a bad feeling. And if she gets a bad feeling and I go against it, costs me $10,000 at least. I just quit doing it. I just don't go against those feelings. They're expensive.
I've been wrong almost every single time.
We have to get on the same page, and I don't violate that. I mean, I'll question her. I'm like, was it last night's pizza? I mean, why are you having a feeling? But she's like, no, this guy, I just think he's a bad guy. I don't know what it is, but I can't put my finger on it, but I got a bad feeling. Oh, geez, we're getting away from that guy. Oh, he's
ASAP.
Going to find out later what happened with him. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Stephen and Melissa are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Doing well.
Pretty good, Dave. How are you?
Good to have you guys. Where do y'all live?
Eaton, Ohio.
Eaton, Ohio. Where is Eaton?
Just outside Dayton.
Oh, okay. I can do that. I know where Dayton is. All right, good. Good to have you guys. Welcome to Nashville. How much debt have you paid off?
$55,000.
All right.
Way to go.
How long did this take?
7 months.
That's quick.
Y'all got after it.
And your range of income during that time?
$140,000.
Cool. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a CNC machinist.
And I'm a financial analyst.
Cool.
What's a CNC machine? I know CNC Music Factory. I don't know CNC Machinist. What's that?
It's basically, instead of manual machining, basically computer programs, and we're cutting parts. The company I work for actually cuts silicon parts that go in the process of making computer chips.
Oh, wow.
That's-
Good.
Make more. Make more.
Yes,
We're trying. Very busy year.
Yes, yeah, really. Catch up. All right. Cool, man. Very cool. What kind of debt was the $55,000?
It was our mortgage.
Oh! You had a tiny little mortgage.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
That's
had a large
awesome.
down payment.
A large down payment.
Yeah.
And what's this house worth?
About $175.
Yeah. How old are you two?
I'm 31.
And I'm 29.
And you have a paid-for house. Y'all
Yeah.
are so weird.
Wow.
Weird people.
Yeah. It's the least
Yeah.
weirdest thing about us.
I like it. Way to go, you guys. How fun. So what in the world, who sets up themselves to put that kind of down payment and be 100% debt-free house and everything by the time you're freaking 30 years old? Where does all of this come from? How do you learn this? Where's your story of Ramsey? What in the world?
Well, I've listened to you for about 10 years now, and I never had any consumer debt. I'd gone to a couple of your live events, and when me and Steven started dating a few years ago, I was trying to get him to come aboard, which he did. He paid off his car and agreed we would never get another car loan and all kinds of things like that. So we were pretty much wanting to pay cash for a house. And I'll let you finish.
Well, she was working multiple jobs. I was working my job. Plus, we both were doing Instacart and pretty much all our free time that we were allowed to. And, we were going to cash flow it. And we were surprised a little early about our daughter arriving, sooner than expected. So we decided if we found a house beforehand that we, fell in love with, we'd go ahead and get a small mortgage with the goal of paying it off within a year, which, we
7
exceeded
months
that.
later.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
Wow. Yeah.
So how old is your little baby?
10 months.
Oh, so you move in 3 months before.
Yeah.
You bought the house 3 months before the baby came.
Yeah.
Whoa, you're brave. And you're brave, moving a pregnant woman into a new house.
Dude.
That's
If you'd
brave.
called my show, I would have said, hold off, man. Well done.
Wow.
And we found a house that we loved, so
Yeah.
it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, and you had a plan to go ahead and knock it out.
Yeah.
And that's pretty
Exactly.
cool.
Yep.
So, I mean, so you say you grew up listening and then you converted him when y'all got married.
Yeah.
So, who were your biggest cheerleaders? People outside of y'all looking at like you've lost your minds?
We're pretty private people, so not too many people know about it, honestly. But we definitely try to preach debt-free living to anybody who will listen, and our families, I'm sure, are proud of us. So
We think they are.
So I'm just imagining at the machine shop, you make a good living, you work hard. There's some dudes with some big trucks and some jacked up Jeeps, and the one guy with every parking lot's got the guy with a Tesla now. And then you're rolling in with your old, and you're just dumping all your money into the house.
Yeah.
How
What
do
do
you
you
deal
drive?
with people hassling?
Ford Taurus.
Yeah.
You're
like
the guy
those.
with the Taurus, right?
I used to have
With the paid-for house.
That's what I'm saying. That's right. Yeah. So how do you deal with the guys just giving it to you all the time?
Just stay focused. I mean, we're on our own little journey. It's not about what they have or what we can have, with debts, what we can afford, what we can live with.
So I know you make silicone chips. If you can bottle what you just said and sell it, you will be a trillionaire. Okay? Good for you, man.
Amen. Yeah, this
Wow.
idea that it's like none of their business.
I don't care.
It's
This
I'm
is me
just
and
doing-
her.
I'm getting out of debt, and whatever they want to do is okay. It's just.
Dude,
it's-
I'm
this
telling
whole-
you, man.
One of the keys to becoming wealthy is you quit caring what other people think. I'm just saying.
One of the keys to winning Earth is what you just said. So good for you, man. Wow.
Way to go, you guys. Absolutely incredible. So, what is the key to staying? You guys are like preventative medicine, mainly. You almost are completely stayed out of debt and getting out of debt. What's the big key?
Definitely staying focused on your joint goal. We wouldn't have been able to do it if the other person wasn't on board. Definitely making sure that you're in alignment with each other and you have the same goals and the same passion to live, your life later on, without debt. And again, like he said, with contentment with what we have.
So you had rent before,
Yeah.
and now you have no payments in the world.
Exactly.
Have you got that one check yet? When you don't owe anybody anything and you just stare at your own money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We paid it off in September, so we've been living that way a little while.
How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels great.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's been great to go on vacation and not really worry. We have a budget, of course, but not really being concerned
You
with.
can kind of do anything you want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, life is pretty good.
How did
Yeah.
y'all grow up with money?
I was terrible with money. I've worked this job for over 12 years, but it was just paycheck to paycheck, spend all I can, take a lot of vacations or, go to a casino, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up with, I forget the way Rachel phrases it, but money was not a hot topic. It wasn't a good thing to really bring up. So that's probably why I'm so, I want to make sure that we're secure and our future children and our daughter is
So
safe.
if it was brought up, it was explosive.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you think about your childhood and then you look at that beautiful little girl, what's it feel like to know we have just done a 180 on her
Change the
on her
family
trajectory?
tree.
It feels great. I keep trying to tell him, like, we could pay for her first house, when she gets married,
Yep,
or
yep.
at least help out a lot with it so that maybe they don't ever have a mortgage
Yeah.
and our grandchildren may not have a mortgage.
I had a friend of mine did that. He made the kids sign a letter promising they would never borrow a dime, and he'd give them a house.
Yeah.
And he said they're millionaires by the time they were 20.
Right.
I mean, 25, right? Not 20, but 25. And it's just pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Wow! You guys are
Guys.
cool! Cool! I love it! We got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you, #1 bestseller. That is the next chapter in your story for sure. If you're not there yet, you'll be there soon. And, of course, a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away and disrupt someone, cause a holy ruckus with that. You probably got somebody in mind needs to read that,
Yep.
that ought to go do what you guys have done. All right, well, let's get the young lady into the picture. And what's her name and how old is she?
Raylan, and she is 10 months.
10 months old. Look. Oh, and Janelle didn't want to hand her over. Janelle wanted to just keep holding her.
Look
over
at
there.
that.
Janelle was bouncing her on her knee. That was so cute. So cute. Well done, Stephen and Melissa and Raylyn. Dayton, Ohio. $55,000 paid off in 7 months. Oh, by the way, that was their house. They're 100% debt-free at 29 and 31 years old, making $140 a year. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt free!
I love it! Oh, baby, that is awesome. Man, their future is bright.
I just remember when Josephine was that little. Oh my goodness, watching them hold their baby.
Yeah, it's cute.
It goes so fast, and you guys have just changed her existence, and she
Damn.
doesn't even know.
The level of stress that's not in their house and will never be in their house, because the number one thing people fight about, the number one stress point in marriage, the number one cause of divorce, money fights, money problems, money stresses.
And that daughter is going to
never feel it.
That daughter, when she goes to elementary school and middle school and high school, she's got two parents who are like, we don't care what other people think. This is who we are. And she's going to be firmly rooted in all aspects of her identity, man. That's unbelievable.
No, you're setting up a whole winning thing here that is way beyond just paying off the house. Well done, well done, well done.
Wow.
They're heroes, man. Rock stars. I'm so proud of them. This is The Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. Alexander is in Charleston, South Carolina. Hi, Alexander. How are you?
I'm doing well, Dave. I got to say, it's an honor to speak to the both of you.
You too, sir. How can we help?
I just had a quick question because my wife and I started doing the baby steps over again. I got out of debt before we got married. I paid for her ring in cash, and then we got married and brought her student loan debt in. So we're starting from square one. And you say with the baby step 2, you should stop all investments. Does that mean I should turn my my employee savings account that they use for my 401k? Should I just turn that off for now until I'm done?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now, here's why. Okay? It's not really that much difference in the math. But there's something that happens in your brain when you go whole hog, when you completely focus on a single goal to the detriment of all other goals. When you completely sell out for getting out of debt, it increases not only the probability that you're going to get out of debt, but the speed at which you do it. And it does free up a little bit of money. The money that was going into the 401k temporarily is not going there. Temporarily, it is going to your debts. But more than anything, it's you going, I'm in. I'm doing this. And there's something about that level of focus, that level of commitment that breaks things loose in your life, because you look over there and you go, well, we can't really buy that thing because that's going to mean one more month that I'm in debt and one more month I'm not in the 401k, and that's pissing me off because I want to be in my 401k. So it just keeps dialing it back down and focusing it back down to where you're putting blinders on your financial life and on the psychology of the situation to be able to focus exclusively on one thing. John, what is the power that comes from that I'm describing?
I'm just listening. I'm thinking of this is just pure unadulterated rage, right? So, Alexander, just thinking about pausing, does that make your heart rate go up?
It does and it doesn't, because like I said, I've been, gazelle with Dave before, and I got the wife to join the cause. But, it's different now for me because, I'm married now. I got a family that I'm going to take care of. We're thinking about expanding our family in a couple of years, and, so we want to be free.
Right. And so let this, like, it does and it doesn't. It does, right? And you're a cool cucumber, like, no, it's cool. It does, and it should, right?
It's a good kind of anger.
That's right. It's
anger that drives action.
Yeah, it's a righteous rage, man. Like, I'm not going to ever find myself in this situation ever again. We're not going to. I love how you're changing your pronouns. We're not going to, right? We're going to keep going and going and going.
Mary's in Louisville, Kentucky. Hi, Mary. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure.
My question is, in 2014, I went through a nasty divorce. And 2015, I rented for a year, and then I bought a condo. In a couple weeks, I'm getting ready to sell my condo, and last year I remarried. So the house that my husband is living in together, we moved in, obviously. We got married in 2021. We owe like $68,000 on the house. And when I sell this condo, I'm going to get about $90,000 from the sale of the condo. So I don't know whether to just go ahead and say, let's pay off the house, or should I invest it in our retirement?
Well, with the exception of the fact that you've been through a lot of pain, and so you're probably a little gun shy. But if let's just say, let's dial this back and say, okay, you call me up, you're 25 years old and you're brand new married, and you've never been married before and never had the scars of the hurt and the pain and the broken heart of a divorce and all of that, and you call me up, the question's a no-brainer. We pay down the house.
Right.
Okay, so that's the answer of the right way to do this financially. But if I'm in your shoes, that might be hard for me to do, and I might want some checks and balances in place because, I've just got these scars. And so the checks and balances would be that your name is on the deed on the new house, and that there's a will that both of you signed, that in the event of his death, the house is yours. In the event of your death, the house is his. And we're not there, former kids from former marriages or whatever are not getting, his kids aren't getting at your $90,000 that you paid down on his house. And, we got to have lots of clarity and legal documents on all of that. And if he's unwilling to do that, then that's going to spook me.
Yeah. And something else, I've got 403B and I've got an IRA, and I have one son. He has 3 kids. And before we got married, he said, before we get married, I just want you to know that something happens to you, your money is going to go to your son. He doesn't have to even think about splitting it with my 3. That's just a given.
Well, then you need to change the beneficiary on your 401k or your 403b to name your son.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did.
All right. Then that's
already taken care of.
Then that's fine. So your husband, your new husband, gets it.
Yes, he gets it.
But we need to discuss then what's going to happen with the house. We've already discussed what's going to happen in the retirement. It's going to the kids.
Right.
Okay. But what's going to happen with the house that we own together, and it was yours before, but now I'm putting $90,000 into it?
Have y'all had that conversation already?
We've kind of jumped around it. Haven't really come right out and said, "Okay, we're going to do this."
Yeah, you need to know that your $90,000 is protected, and that you own the house when he dies, or you don't put the money in the house.
And I care less about the dollar amount, and I care more about that you're not homeless if he passes away, right? Or that his kids don't come out and say, "Hey, that house is ours. We're going to sell it, and we'll give you your $60,000 back," but you're homeless now.
Yeah, it's just good clarity, and it could be the one thing that you guys decide. Okay, this is something we are doing together to the exclusion of our children. His retirement goes to his kids. Your retirement goes to your kids. But this piece of the wealth is our new life, and we're gonna do this house together. And basically, you're buying into this house, and this gives you a vision for the future. It's something you can share on that. If you don't do that, I kind of think you got a problem.
Yeah.
You might want to sell that house, and the two of you go buy a house that you can own together and go into the future. If he's stuck on his house kind of thing. I don't think he is, though. This guy sounds like he's pretty open-handed. I like him already, so it's good stuff. Bill is in Mobile. Hi, Bill. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure. How can I help?
I have a tax question relating to a car that I sold last summer. I bought it 3 years ago, pre-owned, and I think it's a limited edition sports car. I think it's considered a collectible. I paid about $40,000 above MSRP when I bought it, and then I ended up selling it for about $18,000 less than I bought it for. So I'm wondering, can I write that $18,000 off against other capital gains?
No.
Of the loss off that?
No. Because you drove the car. Okay. It's not a collectible. You drove the car. It's your daily. It was your daily driver, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you just bought a car and lost money on cars. All you did. And you can't.
What kind of car was it?
If it's a business, You could do that if you're in the business of collecting cars, and that would mean the car was like sitting in the garage. It wasn't a daily driver, and it's an investment, and you're buying the car as an investment, and you regularly trade cars as a part of your ongoing collectible car business. Yeah, you could write off a loss then, but I don't think you can. You could double check with a tax advisor to be sure. I'm not very good at taxes, so I could be wrong, but I don't think you can. So I'm with John. What kind of car
is this?
It was a Porsche 911 GT3 RS.
Oh my God.
So what have we learned here?
What? Wait a minute. What color was it?
It was black with green accents.
That
awesome.
is a beast of an automobile.
Dude, the studio's getting warm for those of you listening.
I can't believe that thing didn't bring more than that in this weird market.
Well, it's currently bringing about $250.
Yeah.
So
you just got burned on the upsale.
Yes, sir. If I would have sold it private sale, I think I could have sold it probably for more than I bought it for, but
Oh, there it is. Okay, so you could have got out of it, but you flipped it into the next deal. Wow. Well, I don't think you can. Double check your tax guy to be sure, but I'm pretty sure that I'm right. I've been wrong before, though. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's John Deloney, co-host of The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? A lot of those people listen on one of our 600-plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, go to RamseySolutions.com/show.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where dad is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, best-selling author, host of the Dr. John Deloney Show, is my co-host today. We'll be taking your questions about your relationships, mental health, your anxiety, your boundaries, your family, your job, your career, your money, your wealth, whatever it is you want to talk about, basically, we're here. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. The call is free. Some say the advice is worth exactly what you pay for it. Jean is with us in Cincinnati. Hi, Jean. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi. I'm so excited to talk to you.
You too. What's up?
So my husband and I need your advice about a subject that we're conflicted on. So we have been going to a church for about a year. We both had our own churches. We got married several years ago, and it took us a while to find our church, and we're very comfortable with this church. But we're conflicted on whether we should help with something over and above our tithe, and we're conflicted on that. So I'm calling to see if you can help us wade through this. So
why are you conflicted?
Well, our pastor, he addressed the church recently to explain this church is about 10 years old or so, 10, 12 years old. And he explained that when they started this church, they started storefront, and then they found this property, and they borrowed money to purchase this property and to do renovations. And so he said it was $350,000 to $400,000 total. And he came before the church recently to say that they owe maybe $250,000 or so on the church, and he would like us as a church, as we can. His goal is to try to get this debt paid off, but he also indicated he would like to expand the church and build a bigger sanctuary, etc., without explaining whether or not they're going to borrow to do that. And I am Dave Ramsey-fied. And so my husband and I are debt-free, and we're totally in 100% agreement on that, and we also tithe. And I want to help, but I don't want to help them pay this debt off to help them go get another loan. Mm-hmm. And there's not a lot of transparency in this church. We've been there for a year. We don't know what tithes are. There's our former churches, both of our former churches. I came from a very large church. He came from a very small church. Were very transparent about contributions, tithing, and then where that money was going. And we both came from debt-free churches.
Mm-hmm. Does the church, if you went in and met with the pastor and asked for the annual budget, would they give it to you?
Well, that's what I said to my husband. That's how I think we need to approach that. He feels like he's uncomfortable. It's almost like he feels like he's questioning our pastor.
No.
And I said, no, I think we have a right to know where this money's going, and then what we're going to do with it.
I'm what we call around Ramsey, I'm invested in this. I'm a stakeholder. Okay? And so, you know, you're a stakeholder. You're a stockholder in a sense. You're a tither. And so it's not, you're not questioning someone's character, and you can make that plain. You just go, listen, we just want to know. We've been tithing, and it brought up the discussion, and we just want to make sure, you know, we're real diligent with our finances. It appears you guys are, and love to see a copy of the budget. I will not tithe and attend a place that will not allow the tither to see the budget. Because I've just been around, 50,000 churches have taught Financial Peace University. So believe me, we've seen some stinkers. Mm-hmm. Okay? And I don't, there's only one reason to hide something or to not disclose something. Something's wrong. That's the only reason. I think they're going to let you see the budget.
I do too.
I don't think there's going to be a problem with it. It's very standard. But they just don't make it as a big deal about publishing it everywhere. Maybe they don't want it in the paper or whatever. I don't blame them. But if you went in and sat down, had lunch, and say, hey, need to ask you a couple questions. We want to give to this new project, and we want to continue to be tithers. We've made this our home church. We love you. We trust you. As a matter of just our normal course of business, we'd like to look at the budget, and I want to ask you about your plans to continue to borrow because I'm an anti-debt freak. And I just want to know about that. And we're not going to leave the church over it. We're not going to be mad at you. We're not going to cause divisiveness. We're not going to gossip. We're not going to work against you. We just want to know what's going on. And so so we can feel comfortable supporting the whole process.
And do you hear what Dave just said there, which is masterful, which is this is our philosophies, this is our problem, not yours. We're not coming at them guns a-blazing, but this is how we do life, and we want to see if this is something we want to partner with. And
so we want to be good stewards.
Yeah.
Of what we do.
Well, you don't even have to say that because it indicates to him that he's a bad steward if he doesn't do it your way.
Is there something else that you're not finding trustworthy there? It feels like there's something beneath this.
It's not that. We love this pastor, and we believe that he is the real deal. He is amazing.
Cool.
And
how big a church is it?
It's maybe 300-400 people. It's a smaller church than I'm used to.
Okay. Well, the things he's doing now are going to lay the foundation for you to go to 3,000, or they're going to keep you at 300.
That's what he wants. He wants to grow this church.
I know, but he's not going to grow it if he doesn't make the decisions you and I are talking about properly.
Right.
Because it is part of the process. You have to lay a foundation, literally. In order
you
to... You
don't start building until you know. Exactly. Yeah. We've talked about that. You talk about that. The Bible talks about it. And,
the numbers on churches, let me tell you, it's like 90% of the pastors are gone within 5 years of a multi-million-dollar building project. They don't make it. It ends up costing them their job. 90% of the time.
Or they leverage it to go to a bigger church.
Well, something, but it's just they're not there. They don't see it through. And so I was at a church the other day that I'm friends with, and I'm friends with the pastor. I'm friends with the last 5 pastors they've had. That's how old I am. And so, and this guy is still saddled with the debt of a guy 4 pastors ago from a project, and he's swimming in it, man, and it's a mess. So I don't believe in it. I'm with you, but I'm also don't tell people to leave a church just because of debt. I don't. And I
no,
hate
I don't
debt.
want to leave the church.
I'm not, and I'm not.
But I don't want to pay off debt so he can go borrow more money.
Yeah, and I don't blame you.
I
don't blame you. I would. I could keep tithing there, if I were you, and keep attending there if I could see the budget, and not participate in the debt reduction or building program because it's going to end up with more debt. If he says no, we're going to borrow, I could do that with good conscience. I'd be fine. But I'm not. I'm with you. I can't give to something where the bank is going to be the beneficiary of it, not God's kingdom. And God's kingdom has absolutely nothing to do with banks. I am assured of that.
Shots fired.
This is The Ramsey Show. Chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use NetSuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because NetSuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. People are craving connection, they're craving community, they're craving the energy that only comes from humans being with other humans, and we know that. We hear you, we need it too. We got to get back out there, people. We got to get back to your cities. We've been coming to your cities for 20, 30 years, and we miss it, and we're about to get back at it. So first up, we're going to do Building Wealth Live. We're doing the tour. We're announcing and have almost sold out already. Orlando on May the 19th. That's George Camel, Rachel Cruz, and I. Oh, and we're going to bring Dr. John Deloney and Ken Coleman for some side sessions as well while we're there. And then we're going to announce 5 more cities, 1 more this spring and 4 more in the fall for the Building Wealth Live. And we're bringing back to Dallas October 22nd, the SMART Conference. Yeah, you're going to be smarter. It's a day-long event. You will leave exhausted and inspired and better and smarter in every area of your life, from mental health to money to career to anything you want to talk about. We're going to cover it that day. Amy and Craig Groeschel, our friends from lifechurch.tv over in Oklahoma City, the largest church in America, are going to do the marriage section for us. I'm really looking forward to having them with us. The SMART Conference, October 22nd in Dallas. So far, the first Building Wealth Live, not quite sold out. Orlando, May 19th. You can still get tickets, but you do need to get them. RamseySolutions.com/events, RamseySolutions.com/events. It is time to get back out in the real world with people, John.
Oh, I can't wait.
So, time to talk about, James, our producer, has come up with this great idea that every so often we should feature some greedy rich people. Because we all know that rich people are horrible. We all know that it's a horrible thing that they're going to hell because the camel can't get through the eye of a needle. We know that rich people are awful, that the love of money is the root of all evil.
Well, they're dragging America into the sewer.
We're just dragging America, greedy rich people dragging America into prosperity against its will. And it's just awful. It should stop. They're greedy. They're awful. We featured several of them lately. Shaq and some money that he gave away that was ridiculous.
The worst.
Dolly Parton, it was awful how much money she'd given away.
She's the worst.
She's just ruining the reputation of the greedy rich people.
She wants kids to read.
This guy, I got to know this guy personally before he died, and I hate to talk bad about people that died, but
he's rich. It's
Larry
time.
Stewart deserves to be talked about because he's a greedy rich guy. So here's what happened. In 1971, Larry was homeless before he was a greedy rich guy. And he was broke, no money, and hungry. So he went into a diner in Houston, Mississippi. This is known as a small town. Sat at the counter, ordered a sandwich, got a sandwich, finished eating. The owner of the diner was observing this guy, realized he had absolutely no money, walked around behind him, and reached under the stool that the guy was sitting on and said, "Hey, mister, I think you dropped this," and handed him a $20 bill.
Wow.
To pay for his lunch. And Larry said, "If I ever get any money, I'm going to do that a lot." Well, Larry went on to move to Kansas City, got in the cable business, became a multimillionaire, and started a thing. For many years, no one knew who it was. He was called Secret Santa. And he would dress up as Santa Claus with a police escort and give away tens of thousands of dollars, $100, $200 at a time, just walking down the street, seeing someone, making eye contact with them, and going, that person needs a lift, that person needs a smile, that person needs a couple of $100. And so he went to New Orleans after Katrina. He went to New York City after 9/11. Before that, many other cities. He was just find a place where they were having a hard time. There had been some kind of a disaster, catastrophe, tragedy, and he would go in to cheer everyone up as Secret Santa. It started in Kansas City, his hometown. The Kansas City Star followed him around for years. The newspaper trying to figure out who he was, never could find out who Secret Santa was. It was a big deal. We knew about it. We talked about it on this show years and years ago. And then, sadly, Larry got cancer and was given a death sentence. And he came on the show. And we had featured him several times, but we didn't know who he was. And then he came on the show and revealed on this show who he was. Told America who he was, and then he asked everyone to go become Secret Santas, and he actually set up a kit to show you how to do it, and that was his legacy that he wanted to leave before he passed away. And it's estimated that Larry Stewart, this greedy rich guy, gave away well over $1 million, millions of dollars, as Secret Santa over the years, but now has inspired a whole nother generation of Secret Santas, and we don't know who they are, but they're also, of course, greedy rich people.
Man.
You greedy rich people should be ashamed of yourselves.
And I'm probably not supposed to say this, but I've been on the road with you before, and I've seen people's eyes bug out just because you're so generous with folks who are helping with bags and things like that, which has inspired me. There's something about, hey, I don't have $1 million to give, or I can't give $10,000 this project. There's something life-giving about saying, I can make this person, I'm just going to grab this gas, especially these days. I'm going to grab the gas. I'm just going to go stick my debit card in this person's gas as they're getting out of the car, this mother getting out of the car, and I'm not going to say anything other than, blessings to you. I hope your day's a little bit better. Handing somebody $100 as a tip instead of the expected $2. There's something about being able to do that and seeing an entire. It just they turn into sunshine, right? It's just this because it restores. It's not just about the money. It's about humanity. It's about I thought everyone's against me and this person's not, and it's something magical, man, and it's infectious.
Yeah, but you greedy rich people should stop doing that.
Yes. Middle class and under. Middle class folks give away.
You are giving a bad reputation to the greedy rich people when you do this stuff.
I know you're supposed to only
reinvest in yourself. When you're unbelievably generous and you just blow people's minds, it just messes up the whole narrative that greedy rich people should all be punished and give their fair share. I mean, you're messing up the narrative when you're generous.
From private
like
jets to your special parties that you, I don't know what, I'm trying to make something up now.
Yeah, but hats off to our friend who's graduated on to heaven, Larry Stewart, the original Secret Santa. And there's currently Secret Santas literally all over the place.
This is so cool.
All because of him. That's a great legacy.
Golly.
Well done, Larry. Well done, my friend.
I can't think of, that's a pretty incredible legacy.
You talk about fun. That's fun.
It's so fun.
It's unfair how fun that is. Rose is in Sacramento. Rose, welcome to the Ramsey Show. Rose?
Hi, thank you for taking my call. Can you hear me?
Sure. What's up?
Hi. So I actually have a question. I have two little girls, and one is just about the age where she's starting to understand the concept of money and learning that she can, make money and buy stuff for herself that we generally don't buy for her.
Is she 22? How old is she?
She's 5.
She's 5. Okay. That's fun.
She's 5.
And how old's your other little girl?
She's 18 months.
Okay. And your question?
So my question is I did not grow up with great financial advice, and thankfully my husband and I found you when we were in our 20s, and now we would like to kind of set our daughters up. Mm-hmm. So we want to know, do you suggest us giving an allowance, and like an age-appropriate allowance, with the purpose of learning to save, spend, and give? Would they be attached to chores? Because we want her to know that she has to participate in the house, like making her bed and cleaning up her toys, and we don't really want those to be incentive-based. So
I agree. So here's what we did.
This with a 5-year-old.
Yeah, here's what we did. Number one, it's age-appropriate, so take it easy. She's just 5. Okay, we're not sending them to the salt mines. But our
she
goal,
has a princess dress addiction.
It's okay. Our goal is to do 4 things with money. We want to teach kids to work age appropriately. That's make up your bed when you're 4. Pick up your toys when you're 5, okay? And I'll help you, but you get all the credit emotionally for doing it. And then we pay you. And so there's a connection between work and money. So you're on commission, you're not on allowance. Words are powerful. Allowance sounds like welfare. We need to make allowance for you. You're awesome. You can bring it. So bring it, Rockstar Toy Cleaner. Let's do it. Okay? And then we teach you to save, we teach you to give, and we teach you to spend wisely after we taught you to work. Hang on, I'm going to send you a copy of the Financial Peace Junior Kit, which will show you how to teach your 5-year-old exactly how we taught our kids growing up, and a copy of Rachel's book that I did with her called Smart Money, Smart Kids, on how to teach your kids how to handle money. It covers every bit of this. That's a really good question.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225 in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions and on the debt-free stage. Bobby and Cindy are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
We're great. How are you?
Great to be here.
Honored to have you. Where do you guys live?
We live in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Cool. Welcome to Nashville.
Thank you.
How much debt have you paid off?
We paid off $68,000.
Cool. How long did this take?
2 years.
Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
We were about $85,000, and we ended at about $158,000.
Whoa, nice jump. What do y'all do for a living?
Bobby's a contractor.
I'm a contractor.
Home improvement and things like that. And then I was a finance manager with a law firm, and then actually, just when we were about finished with our debt, I went out on my own and started my own bookkeeping business.
And that's where the increase came?
A little bit of both. Actually, he received a number. It took off tremendously.
As soon as COVID hit, my construction business went crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody
yeah.
was home, so they wanted work to be done.
Well, they happened to notice that stuff was broken. They didn't see it before because they weren't ever there.
Yeah, when you visit that bathroom 10 times a day, you get to see a difference than if you're only there twice. So.
What kind of debt was the $68,000?
You know, it's all the normal stuff, but primarily credit cards, car loans, some medical bills, camper loan. You name it, it was just normal.
Yeah.
It was what we had grown up with. It was what we had always lived with both of our lives. We had never really had any kind of financial guidance or...
Yeah, nothing. When I grew up, my parents were pretty poor. So it was always couponing for me. I even do it in my business now, even though I'm making money.
He's my master couponer.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Good. So how long y'all been married?
7.5 years.
So what happened 2 years ago, the pandemic, and is that kind of what woke you up, or what was the wake-up call?
Not really. I think, our journey started kind of a couple years before that. We actually had around $90,000 in debt. And, but over 5 years, we realized, we had barely moved that needle. We'd maybe moved it $20,000.
Yeah, the more we were making seemed like the more we were spending.
Yeah. Yeah. We just kind
kept on going.
Kept living up to the lifestyle. And just, you think it's normal, but you're really just playing a shell game of, you pay off one thing and you think, oh, I've got an extra $300 in my budget. We'll go get a camper, So, you just, stupid builds upon stupid.
Yeah.
And
over and over. And when we first moved here from Massachusetts, where we're from, we came here and we were here for about a year, but when we came to the Lord. And
it changed everything. Yeah,
a lot of things changed, and it was up to about 3 years ago that I found out that this is not my money. This is the Lord's money.
Yeah.
And what are we going to do with this? So that started the ball going.
Really being a good steward of recognizing that, the money wasn't ours. It was a gift and a blessing from the Lord. So
and that flipped the switch to cause you to get intense.
It did. And then you got involved in this, and she was talking about you, and I'm like, who's this Dave Ramsey guy?
This is another scam. What are you doing now?
Me too, brother. Me too.
So it really, and I think the thing for both of us is, Bobby didn't really, I think, get fully engaged, but he trusted me to do it. Right. And I think, we hear so much about everybody having their budget meetings and doing all of this stuff together. And our journey was a little bit different. We weren't really so much on the budget component of it. I certainly used the Every Dollar app, which, by the way, you need to rebrand that as the Every Penny app, because I'm telling you, I was so intense on using that app. And, if the electric bill was 30 cents over, I was adjusting it in the Every Dollar app and then finding that 30 cents someplace else to either spend it or to save someplace else. So,
and I just went along with her. I actually
Smart
just
man.
said, here you go.
Okay.
Take over, because
stayed out of the way.
I did. I really did. I did not. And that was our vacation money too. So
yeah. He loves to, anything he saves on a coupon, he takes that money. That's his own envelope system, and he kind of puts it aside and says, okay, now how much money do we have in the the vacation fund here? So
how does it feel now that you're free?
Incredible.
It's just really life-changing.
I got to pinch myself every morning I get up. I am telling you, I'm 66, 67, whatever it is. But I wish I was their age when this happened. Yeah. What my life would be right now, but I can't cry over that.
No.
But here I am at this age, so
that's
if
my
I
grandbaby.
can do it, anybody can do it. It's incredible.
Well, and I think the other thing that happens when you no longer have that debt, not only does it, it changes, like Romans tells us, we are not to conform to this world. And I think that the way the world views money is that's what we were doing. We were conforming to the world view of it's okay to have debt. It's okay to not have a future. And to suddenly have a future and to be able to have that freedom just by being different. It's bold to be a Christian in this day and age, but it's also bold to be debt-free. And so for us, I think it was a combination. It walks hand in hand with how we are being good stewards, but also what we're doing for our future.
We've become the people that we should have been
that we wanted
a long time,
Yeah.
that we wanted to be, yes.
But I think the other thing too is, how we're using our resources now. Bobby moved his sister from Florida to Portland, Oregon. So talk about going from one end of the country to the other. But that took 2 weeks. And, a year ago or 2 years ago, we would have never been able to have even considered the generosity of time and effort that it took to do that, because that would have meant 2 weeks of income out of our household.
And now we're able to do things like that. We help our church, we help our family.
I think you had a picture of my granddaughter. He was in Portland. I went up and took care of my granddaughter for the weekend, and just to be able to have those type of experiences.
Yeah.
And it's
never been able to do that before.
It's
Bobby,
just really special.
This question's burning a hole in my heart. How can you run a construction business without a $120,000 truck loan? Is that possible?
She's got the truck. I was given a 98 Chevy Suburban by one of our
church members.
Free.
And it's still getting the job done?
I have that to this day. That's all I use.
You're a magician, my brother. Well done.
I try.
So it's funny because your last debt-free couple, they said, well, they're pretty private, and we are too. And I think there are people who have helped us without realizing they were helping us, like the gift of that Suburban. He said, I'm not going to get anything for it at the dealer. Do you want this for a work truck? And talk about a God thing. Literally, his old van had just died like the week
like
before.
15 years.
That's incredible.
So God will just lay out the path for you if you will just listen to Him and you will follow Him. And
you guys
He's
are
just
amazing.
blessed us in so many ways.
You're heroes. I'm so proud of you.
Thank
Well,
you.
So proud.
actually,
Very well done.
we appreciate you. If it wasn't for you, I don't think we'd be here.
I didn't do it.
I know.
But
you were
God
putting our path
showed
for
you
it.
how.
Yeah,
Showed you how.
God put you in our path for a reason.
That's right.
And I think that it's important for people to realize that, I'm 56, he's 66. You can do this, and
Amen.
and so, our next journey is to get that house paid off, and we've laid out the plan that's a 5-year plan.
There you go.
So,
Do it.
it builds hope upon hope upon hope, and that's what we are praying that this will do for other people.
All right. Well, it's Bobby and Cindy from Charlotte, North Carolina. We got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you and a copy of Total Money Makeover for you, because we want you to be millionaires and give that Total Money Makeover book to somebody and get them started. They paid off $68,000 in 2 years, but I think a whole lot more than that happened. Making 85 to 158. I love it. You guys are amazing. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free! Yes! Wow. Powerful. This is the Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. Open phones at 888-825-5225. John, we use a lot of joke lines and one-liners for people's memories around here for different things. Live like no one else, so later you can live like no one else, or better than I deserve. One of the things is we just yell all the time, don't be normal, normal sucks. And she brought that up in that last debt-free scream. The do not be conformed to this world but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. And so what happens is if you don't want to be normal, you have to renew your mind. And what's interesting is there's so much data out now that confirms that biblical truth that your mind can literally, with the neural pathways, can be renewed.
And I love it that it's renewing, that it's not, for me, it's not a one-stop. It didn't happen once. Like, I'm constantly renewing that thing, right? I'm constantly learning and being around wise people and getting new insights. And I love that. Like, but your brain literally changes. Yeah. Neuroplasticity, right? I love it.
Neuroplasticity. That thoughts have a physical shape to them.
Yeah, they've got a weight. Yeah,
there's an actual thing that they can measure that as a thought, and a negative thought has a place, a physical place that it lives. A positive thought has a physical place that it lives.
And a chemical reaction that works through. Yeah,
as a result. And so, being normal, considering that normal in our culture today is overweight, broke,
exhausted,
full of anxiety, horrible relationships, kids are out of control, marriage is on the rocks, hate my job. Normal it sucks.
Yeah, it's that line. It just is what it is. I just reject that wholesale. It's not.
It is what it is, but it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. And I love what she said. She said, "I don't want to be normal.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like everybody else. I don't." And what part of their journey was not that they mathematically paid off the debt. Part of their journey was they no longer accepted normal as okay.
They were turned inside out. Yeah.
And you know, the new book you've got coming out, Own Your Past, Change Your Future, you reform and you use story as a way to reset the thought patterns in the brain.
Right.
With the neuroplasticity. Yeah. And so what we've been doing with teaching people how to get out of debt is reject the cultural norm that is destroying your life, by the way. And that's true of how you've been taught to handle trauma or how you've been taught to handle your mental health, your worry, your anxiety, your panic attack, how you've been taught to handle boundaries with your crazy mother-in-law.
Isolation, loneliness, lack of friendships, toxic work environments, all of it, right? We're just told this is just the way this is. And life is short and then you die.
Yep.
And it is short and you die. But man, there's a lot more autonomy and a lot more transformation that can happen in that gap.
And you can choose.
That's right.
To not be conformed.
Yeah.
Not be normal. With the renewing, be transformed.
Yeah.
Transformed. With the renewing of your mind. And that's true when you're getting out of debt. It's true when you're getting a new job with Ken Coleman. It's true with Own Your Past, Change Your Future, and you want a different mental health outlook. And mental health, by the way, I think some of you are caught up to this, but some of you aren't. When we're talking about mental health around here, we're not talking about everyone that anyone who wants to deal with mental health is crazy.
No.
I want better health. I want better physical health. I want better mental health.
Right.
That's exactly what we're sitting here talking about. Right. Neuroplasticity, new thoughts, renewing your mind. That is the health of your mental. And it doesn't mean crazy, but mental health, people in my generation, it's like if you go to a marriage counselor, you must be about ready to divorce. If you say mental health, it means crazy ward.
Gotcha.
And so once you say mental health, it's like, whoa, that's over there. That's those other people.
Yeah.
But no, I want to be healthy.
Yeah.
Mentally.
In fact, I even go as far to say that there's really no such thing as physical health and mental health and relational health and spiritual health. It's all just health. Now that we know enough that my thoughts actually impact my physiology and my lack of sleep impacts decision making, all that stuff works together, man. If you don't have relationships, your body's going to be hollering at you to get connected, and all that stuff works together. But yeah, I want to have better control of my thoughts, and I want to stop waking up at 2 a.m. every night after every night. I want to stop having my body take off on me just because me and my wife get in a disagreement. I want to be more engaged parent. I want all these things. That's mental health, man.
And that's spiritual health.
That's right.
Take every thought captive.
Yes.
I'm not going to I'm going to make a conscious decision that, our debt-free screamer in an earlier segment today, how'd you do that? I'm just not worried about what the guys at work think.
Yeah.
He took a thought captive.
Ta-da!
He took a thought. The thought that I need to impress other people. I took that captive and I tossed it to the curb.
In the idea that the world revolves around you, right?
Zip tie it, duct tape its mouth, and throw it to the curb.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to take this thought captive. I'm going to capture it.
Yep.
I'm going to kidnap it and throw it out of my brain.
Yeah.
You know, and you can physically in your mind almost look at that. I'm going to zip tie, hog tie, cowboy rope. I don't know what you're going to do. How is it you capture something in your world, right? But, and throw that thing to the curb, man. And that's what he did. He just said, I wasn't worried about what they thought.
No, yeah, it was me and her. And, you know, we come back to this choice thing, Dave. I've been through enough debt-free screams now. Did you know the smile's the same when somebody says we paid off our $170,000 house and we paid off our $1 million house? The smile's the same because they're smiling for freedom, right? And there's this we get caught up in this choice of, well, yeah, I'll never have $100 million. Great. You can still be a millionaire. You can still be free. You can still, right? We're making these choices that we tend to Instagram them or, well, that influencer. Man, the smile over here is the same. When people are free, they are free. And you make that choice for you and your family in that season, man, and then you get after it. It's just something, I don't know. I always thought freedom would be when it was $500 million or $600 million or $100 million. I watched this freedom on people, and it's just something else.
$55,000, yeah.
I paid off $60,000, and my whole family's different now.
And my whole life, I became the person I should have been. That's what he said. That was a great line.
I became the person I wanted to become. Man.
It's a great line.
It's just something beautiful, man, that we get caught up in the choice comparison and the change. Just choose and go for it.
Well, I know that there's a way that we're going to come up with to redeem the value in social media, but there's so much harm done that I'm really comfortable just being off of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on it, but I got people here that run it. I'm not on it anymore. I quit. I just quit.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. It drives me bananas. And I have to make a choice what I'm going to put into my brain.
Yeah.
I mean, because whatever I put in my brain, if I put crap in my brain is crap.
Yep.
You know?
And there's something, you and I were talking
if I put hate in my brain, I just stay mad all the time.
Well, yeah, your body responds to it. It's ready to fight, right? Yep. This past week, I was in New York for a bunch of media meetings, and it was the week that they had just been released.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, man, it was almost teary-eyed. I just watched these friends and these coworkers who hadn't been together in months coming together and having these
first time they've seen each other physically since 2020.
There was laughter from their guts. There was deep conversations, like truly, how are you? Questions, not just passing. Man,
you don't get that on Zoom.
You don't get that on social media.
You don't get that on Instagram.
You don't get that thumbs up.
And by the way, those 43 people on Facebook aren't your real friends.
No.
They won't be there at 2 a.m. if you have a problem. They don't even know you're there.
Right.
They're not even sure they're who you are, but they clicked friend.
There's something powerful, Dave, about getting well, getting connected, and being free.
That's why I'm excited to go back out and do these live events again.
Man.
In person.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to get to have a conversation with 2,000 people, but I'm going to get to be with 2,000 people.
And they'll be with you. That's right.
And be with you and be with Rachel and George. And, you know, this is just who we are here at Ramsey. And so some of you don't like that, and it's okay. You don't have to come. There's room. You know, it's going to sell out anyway. But we'd love to have you, but you don't have to come.
Just come. Okay. Just try it. Just try it.
You'd be amazed what happens. This is the Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's John Deloney, co-host of The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? A lot of those people listen on one of our 600-plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, go to RamseySolutions.com/show.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's the Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life and your money. Thank you for joining us. We'll also answer questions about your mental health, your relationships, your boundaries, your career, your job. We talk about all of it right here. Alan's going to start off this hour in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Hi, Alan. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Hey, thank you guys for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Okay, first, I retired in the end of 2012. I'm 74 now. I make about $100K a year in pensions. The only debt that we have is our home, which is $52,000. Have $120,000 in the bank. I have a 62K in a 457 where I used to work, and I've been taking the minimum distribution amount since I was 70 and a half. My question is, do I pay the 20% tax rate, which is about $12K, to pay the house off, or take it out of the bank account? I'm asking because with about 5 to 7 interest hikes this year predicted, will that clobber the change in value over the next few years? I lost 0.25% of it the last quarter of 21. So do I take it out now while it's still worth something?
What is your income?
It's going to be worth. Pardon me?
What's your income?
$100K, about $100K a year.
Okay. Well, the 20% you're referring to is not the tax rate. The 20% is the 20% is the withholding rate, unless you are in a 20% tax bracket. And if you make $100K, you're not in a 20% tax bracket.
Yep, I'm right. Sorry.
So
yep,
the 20% is the withholding. So it'll be your tax rate that you'll pay on it when you pull it out early. No, I just use your bank money because it's not making anything anyway. It's $55,000 out of $120,000, and you're debt free. Write the check today.
Okay. Okay, well, that's what I was wondering. I just didn't know about, the interest rate hikes they're going to do over the next few years, and how that's
really that may or may not affect. What are you invested in your 457? In mutual funds?
It's a fixed income fund.
Oh,
it's low risk.
Okay, well, that will be affected by the interest rate hikes, and probably positively. You're not making much on it anyway. So, you got it parked very conservatively there. So, but I'm still going to leave it alone. I mean, I'm still going to let it sit there and grow without giving the government 30%, which is what you're going to give them. There's not a wrong answer, but I think the better answer is take the money out of the $120,000 in checking, write a $55,000 check, and your house is debt free.
With the fixed income withdrawal there, I thought raising interest rates would help that fund.
It will, but probably not substantially. It's probably not making anything, and it'll make double of very little.
Gotcha.
So I mean,
but trying to beat that,
doubling one, you get two. It's
trying
not
to
like
beat that is at a loss of 30%.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So I just leave it alone. Kate is with us in Des Moines, Iowa. Hi, Kate. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi. How are you?
Great. How can we help?
Oh, I have a question for Dr. Deloney. I was wondering how to process the trauma of having a previous toxic roommate, and so that I can live with people again.
Walk me through what happened.
Well, so when I first moved out of my parents' house, I was moving in with my brother and what was his current roommate, and I didn't realize that when I moved in with them that they were involved with one another, and it caused almost a control issue because it was almost like 2 against 1, and he allowed her to get free reign because she was his partner. So it caused some tension, and I would try to clean up around the house, and she would get upset that I was cleaning up after him because she thought that he should be able to clean up after himself, and it just made it so it was hard to be anywhere except for my own room.
So is the trauma that you were disconnected from your brother, that your brother ended up siding with somebody that wasn't you, is that the trauma, or is it that somebody was overbearing in your home and they were telling you what to do and it caught you off guard and it just became overwhelming?
Probably a little bit of both. Like, it was very hard for me that my brother was siding with somebody else, but also just if my family can do that to me, what makes it so somebody else wouldn't do that to me if I were to get a roommate again?
There you go. Okay. So an important part of trauma is that our body's responding in the present to things that have happened in the past. Okay. So the idea, I can hear it on you, the idea of being alone isn't smart, it's not good, it's not safe. And yet the idea of being with somebody else, if my brother can do this to me, can abandon me for some girlfriend, then who else? Then everybody's capable of this, right? And so there is some truth to that anybody can hurt you. That's all relationship is a risk. What I would tell you is, unfortunately, I've seen it the other way, whereas family is often more likely to run over other family members because they think they have the right to do that. Or they think, oh, it's just my dumb little sister or my dumb big brother. And often agreed upon, people take more time to come up with boundaries when it's people they don't know or when it's new roommates. So this is how we do laundry. This is who does the dish. People have those conversations with new roommates. And so for you, the word I would give you is, number one, you got to grieve it. You got to just own the fact that your brother screwed you over, right? Didn't treat you like you felt you wanted to be treated. And number two, you're going to have to practice. And I know that sounds hard, but you're going to have to lean into what's a relationship going to look like? What are boundaries going to look like in this new relationship? And I would not hold new roommates hostage to the way your brother treated you. It's not normal. It's not right. And coming into a new relationship with boundaries is going to really help that. So, if you're not willing to help with the dishes, help with the rent, help with the bills, help with the whatever, then this isn't going to be a good situation. And then you're just going to be on to the next. But it's deeply personal when your brother hurts you, isn't it?
Right.
Have you talked to him about it?
And his poor choice of girlfriends.
Yeah. Have you talked to him about it?
Well, yeah, it's been a couple years now, and I am in an apartment by myself now, and it's just a little bit affecting my finances because it's a little bit more than what I want to be spending. And so we've talked about it.
Were you about to say that he's married to her now?
Yes, he's married to her now.
Oh, see, that complicates it all. I think you got to have a hard conversation with him and tell him it still hurts. And hopefully he'll say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And that'll let you be free of some of this. Dave?
Have at it. Try it again.
Yeah.
I think you can learn from this and say, now I know how to have boundaries.
That's right.
Never again.
Yeah.
Never again. If you're not using Pure Talk for your wireless, you're paying too much. Pure Talk gives you the same great 5G coverage on the same 5G network as one of the big guys for half the cost. The average family saves over $800 a year. Go to puretalk.com and choose the affordable plan that's right for you. With their 30-day risk-free guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. He is a best-selling author and host of the Dr. John Deloney Show. Hey guys, there's never been a better time to find a job doing work you love. And that's why I can't wait to tell you about the exciting roles that we have open here at Ramsey Solutions. We are hiring about 300 folks this year. We need developers, UX designers, writers to help us build the digital products that actually change people's lives. And if you want to see what it's like to work here, Well, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook by searching Ramsey Careers. All kinds of fun stuff going on here. It's a lot of hard work and a lot of really, really smart people that care very, very deeply. And so if you want to mail it in and collect a paycheck, probably not your place, because we get after it, because what we're doing really, really matters to us, and it matters to the people we work for, you guys that listen. So you can apply for your dream job at RamseySolutions.com/careers, RamseySolutions.com/careers. John, one of the things that has happened with this surge in real estate is a surge in real estate values. A lot of you are sitting on a home that is worth a whole lot more than it was 20 minutes ago, than it was 2 years ago, than it was 3 years ago. There was a big hurricane, and I can't remember the name of it, that hit Florida and did massive destruction before Katrina hit New Orleans. So several years back, in other words. And after that hurricane, State Farm made the decision that they were no longer doing policies that covered the value of the house. Instead, they're going to do policies, homeowners policies, that they state the value. Mm-hmm. And State Farm is the biggest player in the homeowners insurance world, and so everyone followed suit. And sometimes some of the policies, in other words, you buy a house for $300,000, we'll make up a number, and you buy a homeowner's policy for $300,000 to cover the home you just bought. And it might have an inflation clause on it that the next year it's a little bit more, the next year it's a little bit more, but it would not be unusual for a whole bunch of you listening right now to have a home that you paid $300,000 for, that you've got $350,000 worth of coverage with those inflation kickers on them, and the thing's worth $550,000, and it burns down and you can't rebuild it.
You can't build a driveway with $300,000 right now.
Yeah. And so what I'm telling you is that it is now incumbent upon you, because the insurance business changed as of that hurricane that I can't remember the name of. The insurance business changed, and it's basically stated value plus or minus inflation kickers, and the inflation kickers aren't enough.
Wow.
And so you have to revisit your homeowner's insurance once a year and make sure you have the right amount of coverage for the value of the house.
How will you evaluate your home on an annual basis like that?
I mean, you can jump on just one of those websites and look at it. You're not going to be far off, but you kind of know, I got $189,000 worth of coverage, and this house is worth $600,000.
Our neighbor just sold their house.
Yeah. So you know you're like way off.
Yeah.
And so you can toss that to your insurance provider, and they'll do a little research on it and tell you what to cover the house for. But you need to update your coverage because the value of your home is growing and your policy's not.
You know what really freaks me out is the millions of people who in 2020 and 2021, when the housing prices started to surge, took out a big home equity loan to pay for their new bathroom they want to get done during that gap. And now, not only is the insurance coverage not there, but they're going to be on the hook for that loan. They're going to be staring at a burned down lot, holding a check that can't replace the driveway. Plus, you owe us this equity loan.
Exactly.
What a mess.
If you'd refinanced the first mortgage, they would have required you to update the insurance, but many times a home equity loan doesn't.
Wow.
You're exactly
what a
right.
mess.
You're exactly right. So you could literally be upside down on the house, like on an old days in a car.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So what I'm telling you is get online at RamseySolutions.com and click the ELP for insurance and get a free quote on your car insurance and your homeowner's insurance, and keep your homeowner's insurance updated for the right amount of coverage. Because if your house burns down and you have 50% of it covered, you're going to build a very small house on that lot. I mean, you're going to be screwed up. And if you got a mortgage, your mortgage is probably less than that. You're going to end up with nothing.
That's zero.
You're going to pay off the mortgage and have a burned up lot.
Yeah.
That's all you're going to have. And so you're going to be in a mess. So make sure you keep your coverage up to date, and always price shop it with one of these insurance brokers. Now, the difference in a broker and somebody like State Farm, one of these name brands, if they've got a celebrity endorser, they're probably a captive company, meaning State Farm agents can only sell State Farm.
Or a lizard.
That's right. That lizard thing, that's the other one, yeah. And so you can, Nationwide can only sell Nationwide. And so, they're captive agents is what we call them in the insurance business. So instead, you want to get a broker that will shop a bunch of different companies and find you the best price in your situation. And so many times when someone goes to RamseySolutions.com, clicks on the ELP, and gets with an insurance broker and shops, they not only get the right amount of coverage because their house has gone up in value, but they also get a cheaper rate. And so if you're buying the same amount of insurance, a lot of people save $700-800 a year by changing their car and their homeowners, or auto and homeowners over. And because we're fairly lazy about our insurance shopping.
Sure are.
We get it in place. It's rip it and forget it, right? I mean, you just put it on there and you pay the bill, you pay the bill, unless something comes up and shakes you up. But I'm telling you right now, I don't know what the percentage is, but I would guess north of 50% of you listening to me right now that own a home do not have the proper amount of coverage on your home because your home's gone up in value and you didn't update your coverage. And the insurance companies do not update it. They took that responsibility away from themselves and gave it to you.
And having sat in the middle of a street with somebody watching their house burn down on a couple of different occasions, that sounds like a nightmare on top of a nightmare.
Oh, it is. It's one of the most horrible things to go through emotionally. And then on top of that, to not have the money to rebuild is just a horrible thing. So make sure you're updating your insurance. RamseySolutions.com. Click on ELP. Michelle's with us in Cleveland, Ohio. Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm good. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Twofold. I got an ESOP distribution from a company that I worked for, and it's about $1.4 million sitting in a Schwab account. It's in an IRA, and with everything that's going on, I'm afraid about having all my eggs in one basket. And my husband and I are both retired. I'm 61, he's 67. But we still have a mortgage and a home equity line of credit. We don't have any credit cards. We're debt-free in the credit cards. And up until last week, we had 2 paid-off cars, but an engine seized in one of our cars, so we had to go buy a car this week. My question is whether to, given what's going on in the world and, the Great Reset, I have Glenn Beck's book, and I was just watching your program that aired today. I'm just a little afraid, obviously, of having all my eggs in one basket, and given what's going on in the world, if we should just I think there's about $160,000 that we could take out in cash and just pay everything off.
You should do that anyway, but not because of the fear of what's going on in the world. It's just a smart financial move. You got $1 million. You should not be carrying around a home mortgage. It's a couple $100,000. You ought to be paying it off.
Okay, well that was my thought process too.
Yeah,
just take
but
the
not because of the Great Reset, just because it's smart to pay off your mortgage.
Okay.
Okay, then, and same thing, never borrow money on a car again. You're a millionaire. Come on, girl.
I know I was planning on paying it off next year.
No, how about just never borrowing on a car again? You're not a broke person. You're a millionaire. Now, with the rest of the money, what I would do is sit down with a SmartVestor Pro, click Ramsey Solutions and click SmartVestor Pro, and find somebody in the investment business that can help you do a rollover and get that diversified across several types of mutual funds and give you a little more safety. Yeah, I'm with you. I would not have it all in one account, but I'm not sure what you've got with Schwab there necessarily. You may not really be in one account, but I'd be in several different mutual funds with that much money, and I'd be debt-free. Quit borrowing money on cars. You're a millionaire. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at BethelTech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's BethelTech.net/Ken Coleman.
Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. Thank you for joining us in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Larry and Kamisha are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hey, Dave, how are you?
How's it going?
Welcome. Where do you guys live?
We currently live in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and we just moved there from Tallahassee, Florida.
All right. Fun. Well, welcome to Nashville. All the way here to do a debt-free scream. How much did you pay off?
$60,563.
Love it.
Not that we're counting, right?
How long did this take?
20 months, Dave.
Good for you. Wow. And your range of income during that time?
When we first started this journey, it was $84,000, and when we ended, it was $116,000.
Wow, nice jump. Good job. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a program director working with people with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
And I'm a business analyst at a university.
Okay, very good. Good for you guys. What kind of debt was the $61,000?
Credit cards, student loans, car payment, a car loan. We had a college loan. Well, it wasn't a loan. It was parking tickets. And
no.
such.
That's classic.
On the college campus.
I love
University.
There you
man,
go.
They'll get you.
That's an extra tax on
There
the
you go.
university. Yeah.
Yep.
So you guys were normal.
Oh, yeah.
How long have you been married?
Be 4 years in June.
Yep.
All right. So what happened 2 years ago, halfway into this marriage, and you went, something got to change? What happened? What was the deal breaker that got you on this Ramsey stuff?
The deal breaker. I think on our honeymoon, we had the biggest argument ever.
No.
We hadn't talked about money much. And so it just came out, and we just had a huge money argument. And it was just like, man, it was a wake-up call. Like, man,
who was wrong?
I wasn't. Clearly.
That is clearly. You are wise.
Absolutely.
He's wiser than fighting on his honeymoon.
Wise.
He's learned. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I had to, just make some decisions.
It was the war to end all wars.
There you go. And
so what happened? What happened 20 months ago got you on this plan?
So I've been talking with my pastor for a while in Tallahassee, and he kind of introduced me to Dave Ramsey and the plan, and just woke me up. And I'm like, man, we can do this. And so just trying to get her on board, like, let's do this. This is going to really help us and really help change our lives and change.
But she was already wanting to do it back at the honeymoon.
Yeah, not at all.
No. It was a wrong. Okay.
I was the free spirit. I wanted to spin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no! Did she call you cheap on your honeymoon?
Yeah.
No!
It's my fault. Yeah.
All right. So Kamisha, how did he get you to consider this whole new way of handling and looking at money?
Well, he brought it to my attention, and I still was not impressed.
I bet.
And then one of my coworkers, she actually went through your plan, and her and her husband became debt-free, and she shared the story with me. And I said, okay, Lynn just told me about this. Larry just told me about this. Let's give it a try. 8 months into it, I still was not convinced. I still wasn't convinced.
Yeah, we took FPU in February of 2020, right before the pandemic hit.
You are a hard sale.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're a hard sale.
Absolutely.
So 8 months of the 20, but what happened then? How did you become convinced?
We paid off our credit cards.
She started seeing results. Started seeing the results, and
it was worth it. You started seeing it was worth it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And believing you were actually going to make it.
Yes.
Clearly, we were so busy because we're both in school. So we're both in school getting our masters, and we have a 3-year-old, and just trying to balance everything. We're both graduating this semester.
Right.
What are your masters in?
I'm getting my master's in public administration.
And autism spectrum disorders.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
Wow.
And hey, there's nothing like a pandemic to pucker up a university business analyst, right?
There you go. Wide open.
I've got some buddies that were still sweating, right? Like, hey, we should probably get out of debt.
Absolutely. So it was definitely a wake-up call, and, we were on track ahead of time. And then, when that pandemic hit, it was like our last 2 classes of FPU, we did remote. And so it was like, man, we have to really pay off this debt.
Wow.
And go full steam ahead.
So I'm guessing that neither of you had a picture growing up of what debt-free living looked like.
Absolutely not.
No, not too much. I know my parents, we were in good position and really prepared us, but really not, for this debt-free journey was something new for us. But I knew it was our purpose.
What do you think? Man, you got a 3-year-old. What? Tell me about what you're thinking about having a 3-year-old that will never understand that level of stress, will never understand not being completely and totally free.
We look at her with so much gratitude. We were just talking about her today, and we said she's so blessed. She doesn't know the things that she won't get to experience, that we were able to protect her from just by going through this journey.
Wow.
Absolutely. Change the family tree.
So will you ever go back in debt?
Oh, no.
Man, not at all. Not a chance.
No credit cards. We actually... when we took the FPU class, he was the only one to cut up his credit card, like, first day. And we cut the credit card, and we have not used credit cards since.
Did you hit him on the way home in the car?
No. I was impressed.
Yeah. And we just finished leading FPU as well. We just finished our week 9 was on Sunday.
Wow, thank you.
Leading our class.
Thank you. At the new place in Fayetteville. Yeah, wow.
Yep.
Very cool. Well, thank you for doing that. Well, you guys are star pupils, no question about it. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Very, very well done.
Absolutely.
Now that you're 100% free and you're on the same page, how's it feel?
Just gratitude. It just feels, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful just to be able to lead my family into greener pasture and to know that I'm really walking this thing that, they call life, that God really designed us to walk it the right way and to not be a borrower anymore, never again. So we're on this journey together.
Woo! I love it.
Making it happen.
Yeah. Preach it. I like it.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
Kamisha, what's one thing you can give us that a husband can tell his wife when she's like, I'm 8 months in, I'm not doing this? Give America one line.
Be patient. Be patient. And to the wives, I would say, trust your spouse. I was so afraid. I had FOMO, fear of missing out. I didn't want to let go of things, and I had to just let go and just trust him because he was trying to lead us in the right direction. But I was worrying about my status and, wanting to get my nails done and wanting to go out to eat. But it was bigger than that. And so he had the vision from the beginning, and I just had to trust him and trust the process.
And now you can get your nails done and go out to eat.
Whenever you
All the
want.
time.
Anytime you want.
Anytime.
You got no debt. I love it.
Absolutely.
Live like no one else.
So
Later
great.
you can live and give like no one else.
no one else.
All right, now when you're teaching the class, what do you tell them the key to getting out of debt is?
For me, it was just really losing your reputation. I think I really had to lose my reputation of, having this status, of having these things, and it's not about that anymore. And I had to really figure out a new reputation. My reputation was to, lead my family in the right direction. Also, I just had to stop listening to. Stop listening to broke people.
Yeah.
She doesn't like for me to say that, but I really had to stop listening to broke people. Like, if I didn't want to trade places with you, I'm not listening to your advice.
There you go.
And so really, just studying God's word and listening to, your podcast every day really helped, keep us motivated and staying on track in the right direction.
You guys are amazing. You're an absolute power couple. We're so proud of you.
Thank you. It's
Well
incredible.
done. Well
Thank
done.
you.
We got a copy of the Baby Steps Millionaires book for you. That's definitely the next chapter in your story. You are on your way.
Thank you.
Very well
Yes, sir.
done. And a copy of Total Money Makeover. You can give that away to somebody and stir up a holy ruckus.
Oh, yes.
I like it.
Oh,
I
yes.
like it. All right, it's Larry and Kamisha. They paid off $61,000 in 20 months. Quite an adventure. Making 84 to 116. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free!
Oh, I don't care who you are. That's fun. Oh, man.
Stop taking advice from broke people. If I don't want to trade places with you, I'm not interested in what you have to say.
About my
That will preach,
about
Larry.
my parenting, about my marriage, about my money. I don't want what you have. No, thank you. I will pass on that. I like it. This is the Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, 1 Corinthians 10:13. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. Abraham Lincoln said, discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most.
Ouch.
Ooh, that's good. Travis is with us in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hi, Travis. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
First off, I need to say thank you. I feel like you and your team and your plan has definitely saved my marriage. So I'm active military, and we're getting ready to sell our house, which the profit from selling our house, we will pay off all our debt and then have roughly about $50,000 left.
Wow.
Very cool.
So with that being said, we're moving because of the military. So we're moving from the Charlotte area to West Virginia. So we'll be taking a pay cut. And we'll be debt free. So with that extra $50,000, is that something I've talked with a couple of financial advisors? Is that something that we put towards the house? We'll be using a VA loan to purchase a house. I've talked with others that say, to put it in a Roth IRA. And I've talked to a couple that say it's not a bad idea to always invest in, gold and silver. So I'm just kind of curious what to do with that amount of money because we've been in debt just forever. So we're kind of going into no man's land.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your service. So how long will you be stationed in West Virginia?
Hopefully it's my last move, but probably around 5 years.
Okay. All right. Well, be careful when you buy a home there that you buy in an area that is hot enough that you can resell it, because I'm assuming after 5 years you're not going to stay in West Virginia. Am I right?
Correct.
Okay. So, you need to be able to get rid of this house when you leave. And so if you buy in an area that is slow moving in real estate, it's not going to go up enough in value and you're going to have trouble getting rid of it. So be careful of that. Do some studying with the real estate agent when you are picking the area, okay?
Okay.
So that's thing one. Thing two, you're not disabled because you're still active duty, right?
Correct. I am, yes.
Okay, so the VA loan is not your best deal. It's more expensive than a Fannie Mae loan. It is a benefit to veterans and to active duty, and it should be, since it is supposed to be a way to honor you guys and gals for serving, it should be cheaper, but it's actually more expensive than an FHA or more expensive than a Fannie Mae even yet. And so I would do a conventional loan, and if you want to pick out a realtor that we suggest, just click on Real Estate ELP under Ramsey Trusted at RamseySolutions.com. You can find the real estate agent, and they'll help you line all that out, and they'll show you the numbers I'm talking about. But the VA loan has been sold to you as part of your package, and it's something that was supposed to be good for you, but they're so stupid in how they run it, as you can imagine, that it's more expensive. So I wouldn't go that route. So that's thing one. Then the last piece is I'm going to put all the money towards the house other than debt-free and have an emergency fund, because I'm going to put as much down as I can, because we have the goal of getting the home paid off. Even if you're going to move later, if you have a huge equity because you paid down on the home aggressively and use this down payment, you're going to get all that money out of the house when you sell it. So put as much down as you can. And whoever the advisor was that told you to buy silver or gold, never go near them again.
Yeah, don't drink beer with them. Don't mow their yard. Just walk away, man. Yeah.
Here's why. I just pulled this number, as a matter of fact. I hadn't looked at it in a while, but I pulled it because of something else I was doing today. I was on my friend Glenn Beck's show, and he's a big gold bug. And the last 10 years, gold has an average annual rate of return of 3.7%. And the stock market has an average of 12.4%. That's why I'm telling you to run from people suggesting gold. Okay? And so I do not invest in precious metals of any kind, ever. I invest in real estate that I pay cash for, and I invest in good growth stock mutual funds that a good SmartVestor Pro at Ramsey Solutions can hook you up with. We're not in the real estate business and we're not in the investment business, but we'll hook you up with people that will help you do the thing you're trying to do, purchase a piece of real estate, make the investments the way that we teach, consistent with the way we teach. Alan is with us in Lexington. Hi, Alan, your question.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Yeah, my son is staying with us right now, and he has been going through severe depression as a result. He quit his job. He's from Alabama, but he quit his job in Alabama. He's working with Boeing, and he had credit card debt, couldn't keep up with his credit card payments, and so they turned it over to collection agency, which then went to a lawyer, and so we came up with, because I've listened to you a lot, so we came up with an amount we would pay them, and he's $15,000 in debt. We came up with an amount we would pay them. They would not even talk to us. They said they had to talk to a lawyer through us. And so I'm just wondering where to go from here.
Well, that's absolute horse crap.
Yeah, that's not true.
That's just not true. Now, they're not allowed to talk to you about his account. They have to talk to him about his account unless they have a legal document allowing them to discuss with you, but they don't really want that document because they don't want to talk to, they want to bully him, and they've already figured out they can't bully you.
Yeah, they may be talking about power of attorney for you to speak on his behalf of his account.
Right.
Yeah, because they cannot disclose stuff about his account because he's an adult to another adult without his permission. It's a violation of Federal Privacy Act.
Right.
But
right.
they don't have to go through a lawyer to have this discussion. Now, power of attorney, if you misunderstood or they misunderstood, that you'd have to get a power of attorney, a special power of attorney, allowing you to negotiate this on his behalf. And, we used to do some of that negotiating stuff on behalf of customers that we were coaching them. And so we would have people sign these power of attorney and we would send it to the people. But the creditors, they hate it because they found somebody they can't bully. And their goal is to bully him. So what state of mind is he in right now?
He's gotten a lot better. He's working with a therapist, and
could he moxie up 5 minutes of badass to get on the phone and bust him?
I think he could right now. Okay. Yes. And see, the other reason they didn't want to talk to us is there's several of us on there to talk to them, and they said we cannot take conference calls. So, then they said, and we can't talk to them unless it's through a lawyer. So
that's nonsense.
That's just not true.
So here's what I would do. I would have him practice this with his counselor. And this can be a really big breakthrough moment for him. Practice the conversation and have him tell his counselor, I want to practice this because I'm going to be calling this credit card company that is, I got behind and now they're raking me over the coals.
It's heavy conflict. My pulse rate's going to go up.
That's right. And then that counselor's going to push on him in a safe environment there so he can practice this, and then he can sit with you guys. And, man, this could be a big win for him on multiple levels.
Yeah. No, you're right. And even now, his counselor has actually pushed him into actually calling this lawyer. I mean, for a long time, he just ignored. It was so bad at one time, he just curled up in bed and stayed there.
Sure.
Okay? And he has come a long way since then.
If you're able I want you to high five. Just that one statement you gave me tells me that counselor is worth their weight in gold. And if you ever have a chance, high five that counselor. There's so many folks that just want to sit and chat and sit and talk. And this counselor is pushing him to get out there and take some action. That's such a beautiful thing. I'm so glad that you found a therapist that is doing that for you.
High correlation between this type of action and recovery on depression.
Love it, love it, love it, love it.
Yeah, very good. Keep fighting. But the answer is no, that no one has to have a lawyer to deal with a stupid credit card company. They're just a stupid credit card company. Believe me, they're dumber than a rock. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, it's John Deloney, co-host of The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? A lot of those people listen on one of our 600-plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, go to RamseySolutions.com/show.